Welcome to the Kommon Cents Podcast. Kommon Cents, make it make sense. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, check us out on Spotify at Kommon Cents University, as well as on all our socials at Kommon Cents University as well. All right, so today we are shining the light on a rising star, making big moves. So I'm your host, Jackson, and I'm here with Q. How's it going, Q?
Well, right now, we're here with the legend himself, Man with many hats.
Absolutely. I just want to loan him out here today, though. Anyway, today we're turning up the volume with a special guest who is making waves in the world of music, dancehall music specifically, from lyrical fire to unique style. This artist is bringing a fresh voice to the scene and representing the next generation of dancehall music. So whether you're a fan of the genre or you just love a good come-up story, trust me, today you're in for a treat. So let's get into it. Whitter the legend. You're in the hot seat today. How you feeling, bro?
Active. Giving thanks for life, we're here on Kommon Cents. And what better place to share my story towards music than the place where Kommon Cents make it make sense. No.
100%, bro. Yeah, man. But you don't need any additional introductions. I want to ask you to do all of that little stuff. I'm gonna jump right into the question. My first question for you today, Whitter. What inspired you? What inspired you to pursue dancehall? And how did your journey begin?
Well, interesting question, how the journey began. I was first a marketer and a manager. I worked with artists that are now big names in the game from Montego Bay. You know what I mean? Some that are not currently in the game as well. Ching Ching, Prime Minister, Blade Schemas, Tamale. You know what I mean? I've worked with quite a few artists as it leads to getting them out there, getting them booked for Sunfest. And I used to work with a young artist in Montego Bay by the name of One Pop as well. That's how my journey started out in the music. Before that, going to college and them something there. You know what I mean? Everybody starting at church and all that thing. We always sing at church choir. And then we go to college, we start performing. You know what I mean? Charge a little money at the gate and get a full house and performing. But I've never right away take the artist stand until, later on in life. Why I choose dancehall, I was always this artist who loved the girl song, So
Yeah.
I was more of a soulful artist, more of like R&B, anything for the girls. It's my friends that I was working with, when I started the legendary promotion, I said, boy, Jamaica now, catch on to this foreign style, So I have to learn dancehall. That I grew up listening to dancehall, but I was never a dancehall singing artist. So I decided, all right, this is a challenge. You know what I mean? So I started, writing my dancehall songs, doing my thing. I do like 2-3 songs until I find the big song, Top Brass. You know what I mean? That propelled me as a dancehall artist. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, man, you actually I didn't know that you help with managing and booking artists and stuff like that as well. So that's very good to know. But yeah, man, very inspirational story. Starting from the lower section and now we're here. All right. But anyway, yeah, man, thanks for telling us that. So, how would you describe your sound? Like, what makes your sound different from other artists in the genre? Because you know that one of the things that I know dancehall artists specific, well, not just dancehall artists, all artists, you know, they definitely want to identify themselves, right? So different from everybody else. So as a year, somebody say, "Oh, Zaga," you know, say I be the man. So what's unique about Whitter the Legend?
Unique in a sense where when it comes to concept and melody, you know, I made the rhythm speak to me. You know, some artists you will listen to them and they've sound one straight way all the time. Depends on the rhythm. You will probably get an international song. If it's hardcore, you get the big voice. And I mean, if it's reggae, you get a reggae singing artist. So I don't box myself in. So you won't listen to an album and an EP for me and say, you know what I mean, just one way I'm sounding. I always try to come up with melodies and work with melodies and all that. And yeah, I think that make me different, you know, any genre. You can put me in any genre and I'll deliver a song in any genre.
Versatility.
Yeah. Something
Love
like that.
I love that. Yeah, man. So, you know, while you were aspiring to be an artist and, you know, you decide to, all right, you know, more try a thing. Or more do a thing. Not even say try, you do a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us some of the dancehall legends or probably current artist influences that you had, you know, that influences your style and, you know, your creativity?
Take a drink to that. I'm an inspired nobody, a joke. As I said, my inspiration comes from various genres. So, you know, growing up, we listen to the Usher, you know what I mean, the Neos, you know what I mean, these type of, well, before even Neo, you know what I mean, the Brian McKnight, you know what I mean. They were back in the days when I used to listen to the Instinct or Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
I would love a girl, you listen to this song there, I was singing it back to her. Yeah,
and we all know that you're inspired by Michael Jackson as well.
Gotcha. That's a legend, you know. That's a legend. So yes. So moving into that, you know, who know me, you know, when I was listening to dance, it was like Beanie Man, Bounty Killer, you know what I mean? You know, Sean Paul, you know, Wayne Marshall. You know, I'm a lover of music. So, you know, I listen to different artists and, you know, natural like artists will have melody. You know what I mean? So, you know, the singers, the ghosts, the bojo, you know, singing melody, any of that. These are some of the artists that, you know, I pay attention.
So I like that you named, you sound like you named out a whole playlist, like your entire Spotify playlist you named out a while ago. What I want to hear from you is, you know, in terms of one artist where you could have said, well, yeah, man, definitely, this is someone that, you know, inspired me. Who would that one person be? If you had to call one name.
Sean Paul.
Sean Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would have never guessed that. All right, that's good, man. Sean Paul is one of the greatest to ever do it, right? So definitely respect and enough love to Sean Paul. Talk to us about your creative process. So when you're building a track or you're building making a song or writing a song, what's the creative process for you?
What I do is, you know, normally, you know, a rhythm will pop up in my events, you know, and I'll contact like a beat maker and I'll play the sounds, you know, with my mouth and set the different levels of the sound and tell him to create something like this. So I'll be there with the beat maker and I will say, give me a cymbal. And yeah, so when I'm producing, that's how I work. I've write songs for other artists as well, you know. So, but how I prepare myself is just basically picking back with friends. You know what I mean? Sometimes we all are made with some herbs. Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have a drink. My favorite drink is a Magnum. And when I'm in studio and I want that vibes, you know, once the energy is right, you know what I mean? You have to have an engineer that you that you have that energy with. Because if
Yeah.
someone in the space and energy is not right, it's going to affect the creative space. So I don't like a lot of crowd in the studio as well. Persons in the studio have to be person in the studio that is going to be a part of the recording, not somebody who's going to disrupt the recording. So yeah, once these things are in place, and we have a nice beat, you know what I mean? Majority of the time I'll tell people that when it comes to my songs, I just go into the studio, go freestyle them. I make them on spot. You know what I mean? I think about 90% of my songs make like that. Yeah, so
I thought you wrote that, but you know, I pictured you, you know, you have a herbs over here, so you have a drink over here, so you just sit down and you just look out at space, you just right. I thought that was it. I never know it's a freestyle.
I just have a concept in mind and probably have a melody or a punch in mind. And then because I'm big on punchlines, you know. Artists always reach out to me for a punchline. I'm big on punchlines and melody. So I'll have that in my head and then I'll just go in the studio and do the rest. It's good to have an arrangement, you know what I mean? Because we don't want everything to be vibe. Because when you're looking for a certain sound, you know, but the energy, you don't want to plan and make music too rigid. You have to have that type of vibe, you know. So you will go in there with this, and when you listen, the instrument, you know, the speaker, the instrument talk to you differently. So instead of to say, hey, you say, hey, you know, you change the vibes because when you're a bit too rigid and trying to stick in a one type of, you know what I mean, you end up sounding like a lot of artists who just sound the same way. Every song them sing, it's monotone, it's up on the same vibe and same energy.
Real.
I have another question for you. So you write all your songs?
Yeah, all my songs are written or freestyle like this.
And I know you say you did write songs for other artists. You was to share
I'll female artists write songs.
You write to share any names?
No.
Tell us, what type of challenges have you faced breaking into the dancehall space? What are some of the challenges?
You know, the stories are crazy, you know. I'm a person who have a huge heart when it comes to music. So a lot of times, you know, somebody will call you and say, oh, they need the assistant or you need the strength. And because you're a person who is a soulful person, you will give that energy. And when they should, you know, show that type of energy back to you by just saying thanks or big you up, them act like you're never a part of the journey. That's one. That's one of the things that I face a lot, and I've learned to close that door and not focus on me or persons who are putting energy in what I'm doing. The next thing is, as you know, it's a gladiator sport. I remember when I got one of the song which is Stop Braff, and I created that song. It was a slang before, right? It was a slang before, which was braff, and it formulated from, you know what I mean, carnal courts around that surrounding. And I remember Massacre did a song, Top Farms. I'm saying, no, we had the top braff. And instead of we do the song where braff, it means spend your money and waste your money and party, we had the top braff because we have shot caller, boss type of energy. So I do the top braff type of vibes. And doing that song, you know what I mean, members from my team start getting threats. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? People shooting badness, gun threats and all of them things. And, you know, during those time was like, you know, I understand how artists can get caught up in these things if you don't think smart. Because a man with us testing and one move of ego will make you spend years behind bar. So, you know what I mean? Fortunately, I was a quick thinker and I was able to, you know, pull everything and able to make sure that it didn't reach into a level where persons react on my behalf without me knowing or whatever, you know what I mean? Because sometimes I'm gonna just rate you and there's somewhere I hear somebody call a name, I act upon it and call it and say, but just have a boost up a boy face, you know. And you hear so your name call, so you send man to do this and that. So as artists, that's why I'm really kind of cut out the entourage thing, because I was moving strictly like a dancehall artist. You know, the thing with toil over your head, and then I move with our entourage and all of them things there. And I said to myself, I'm going to change this perception because at the end of the day, I see where a lot of artists fall or feel in that form. So if I'm a team, we're not a role. So that's how I decided to do it. So there are a lot of different challenges, you know what I mean, pertaining to that. Yeah.
When I asked that question, I wasn't expecting that answer, to be honest. So that just goes to show, like, you guys are facing like different types of challenges and different obstacles that people are not even thinking about. We live and we learn, right? Yeah, man, for real. But
I would say
adversity.
adversity is the main thing for it. Adversity is better than anything else. It's education. It is, if you call it, inspiration, aspiration.
Definitely.
But you have to overcome the adversity to attain anything great that you want in life.
100%. Love that. Yeah, man. So, thanks for talking to us about that challenge that you face and thing. Get into a little bit more personal, I know.
Gotcha.
So I know you have quite a few songs actually. As I say, you started with a rap song. I know that one there. Shawty going crazy for me.
Shawty going crazy for me.
But yeah, man, that one was a banger back in the day, But talk to us. Which one of the songs mean the most to you right now and why?
Oh, that's a hard question. Good question.
I feel like if you see that question if you second half, Eh?
Which one of the songs them mean the most? Music is something that can sometimes be planned and market. And it will appeal to the people in certain light, But in many cases, what you think will hit, sometimes not hit it. You know what I mean? But I have some songs that persons haven't heard that I love dearly. Up until now, they haven't heard. Let's put them in the archive. But let's talk about the songs that propelled me or gave me some fans. Like Top Brass.
We living the life nobody would never time.
That's one. Then we do the Top Brass material for the ladies. And then with the So Special.
And girl, you're so special to me. Love you unconditionally. The way you give your body to me. Touch you one time, and me, I feel go again for real. Girl, you're so special.
So Special to me. That was the one that gave me the international, the global space. Of persons reaching out to me to sign me via contracts and different labels. But one of the things I'll say to the artists worldwide, when you have a buzz moment, there's a lot of people gonna reach out to you. I want to feed off that energy. The deals might sound good at that time, but sometimes it's best to hold off, because sometimes you'll jump and sign certain contracts. I will see it happen time and time again. Artists sign certain contracts and they're tied up and then they fade away. So I was educated in that space because I said I used to manage a few artists and sort out contracts. Back in the days when it comes to Montego Bay, you know what I mean? Young Entrepreneurs was
Entrepreneurs.
Yeah, man, was the place where all the parties get their proposals, their contracts.
Yeah.
We were the spot, right, Jackson?
100%.
So we had a lot of understanding about that. So when I see some of the contracts, you know what I mean, and these were overseas company reaching out to us, I realized that it wasn't wise to sign them, so I didn't sign them. You know what I mean? I decided, and sometimes when you sign too early in a career as well, you know what I mean, it fade out quick. A lot of people get a big song and the label grab them, and sometimes label shelf you. I've heard a lot of artists talk about it, come out and speak out about this. So you have to know what you're doing and know where you're going with your music. So, So Special is the one that gave me the Billboard, and I was on an album that had all the big names in dancehall. locally and internationally. You know what I mean? And somehow, Whitter the Legend spiral off that album and start charting by itself. And at that time went all the way to number 3 on the iTunes chart. Those songs are the songs that gave me that buzz. You know what I mean? I let a lot of people know me more international.
Okay. Yeah, man. Special to me was something special. Definitely was something special. But you know what? One of my favorite songs that you've done is the strong ones, right?
Yeah.
And that one is speaking about struggles with mental health, and you know, I feel like I surround myself with powerful people. I feel like you guys are powerful, right? And I feel like we're all strong ones. You know what I mean? So when they hear that song, I say, yo, a real thing, you know. It's like everybody always come to you when they have a problem. Where do I turn? You know? So that was one that resonated with me. Sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, I joke about that song. You know, that's why if you're not do certain, I can't lie to the music. So when I experience a certain life or a part of a certain life, now I go sing about it. Right? And that's why as I get older, I move away from certain gangster lyrics because I think just can't show it.
Where the strong ones go when the dying inside. Where the strong ones go when they really wanna cry. Where the strong ones go when the...
That song, Strong Ones, I was really going through that moment. You know what I mean? And at a stage of your life where everybody expects you to have the answer. You know what I mean? Because I had the team, you know, people are always reaching out to me. But when the strong one need someone to talk to, who do they turn to? And that's how the melody comes to my mind. Where the strong ones go, when they're dying inside, where does the strong ones go, when they really want to cry. So that song was what I was going through at the time. And there's an EP that released on that afterwards. But that song was created because of that moment.
Yeah, man, that one definitely touched me. So.
I'm crazy enough, you know, that song, so a brand overseas by the name of True Team Players, they started following me and they reached out to me for a few songs, especially that song. And they use it for a tagline for soldiers that are going through. We call that thing again, sorry, we call it. Yes, some soldiers that are going through that time, and it's used international, you know what I mean, for marches and support. So big up True Team Players. Right.
Wow, so much information and great insight into the music industry and the life and the journey of an artist. Whitter the Legend, Billboard artist. Thank you very much for stopping by. But we're not done with it yet. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we have questions with you.
A dancehall commandment. How you fit tell the youth them about Wobby and Parchment? Dancehall, who do you hear me call? Dancehall, this is a dancehall commandment. How you fit tell the youth about demons and darkness?
Common sense, make it make sense. No. Jackson, earlier when I said a man in many arts, I'm not talking about the one on his head. What I'm talking about, this man was once a student at Sam Sharp, then a teacher. Then from a teacher, him going music. Then from music, him going music in many different ways. Him a songwriter, him a recording artist, him a producer, him a marketer, him a event planner, him a promoter. I mean, the list goes on. Man who changed his name after stop for a minute now, right? And think about which one of the names, because I have so much different names. This man recreate himself so many times. At one point in his earlier stage in his musical career, was it K-Style?
Yeah, man.
You sound like you yourself don't even remember that.
Why are you reminding me that?
Oh no.
K-Styles.
Tell us about K-Style.
DVP presents
So K-Style is the younger stage, I tell a story that I started doing music from church, So I was on like the Sunday school choir, youth choir, national choir, 200 voices, you know what I mean? And going to, high school, got to the stage where we kind of did not take the music serious until after high school, we start messing with the music again. You know what I mean? When I was going like to money college and so forth. So the K-Styles comes in around there at that time. I used to live in exchange. So I used to link up a brother that is no more, local brother, Free Speech. We go Free Speech. R.I.P. to Free Speech, and condolence in family. Used to link up and go up on the laptop and, you know what I mean? Play the rhythms, and we never have studio equipment. So we used to like, put the laptop close and sing fully up an attitude.
How about this other guy that I think he passed away too early on? I heard that the keyboard player that used to,
Yeah, man.
I think his name was Beal.
Beal was a person after, leaving high school. He used to play in the hotel. He was my brother from high school, and I was, I left Oche after leaving Money College and was to Sam Sharp Teachers College. And he pushed me, before I got there, he used to push me and say, yo, if you do music. So he used to bring me in the hotels. You know what I mean? And say, oh, you sing at hotel, because it plays in the hotel, keyboard and stuff. So I used to go there and, some hotels with him and do my Usher. Usher songs and a couple other songs like that,
Catching a practice.
Yeah. As I say, know the song, them man. I have a song, me I tell you. Them time that I see myself as a singer. And so one day I say, yo, want Bill a rhythm for you. So I link up. At time on the James Avenue, Timeless was an engineer. He wasn't a DJ as he is now. I don't remember the name of the studio. And he link up Sly, who was a BSC. Gregor was a drummer. Him was a keysy. And the Bill a rhythm for me. You know what I mean? Record rhythm. I wish I could find that rhythm though. Sweet rhythm. And say, yo, send that a road. So that was playing on IRFM and people thought it was Romeo and Virgo. Breads was a part of that era as well. You know what I mean? So they were pushing me to the artist thing. But
so who is Breads?
So Breads is a producer and a manager. He works with a lot of artists. I don't think he is, from Unity Yard,
Okay.
At that time, Breads used to, you need to do music. So, he was pushing me. But I didn't take it serious, even though I had that, in the early stage, I have that song playing on IRFM. But when I moved to Montego Bay and then Beale, come back to do some more work, unfortunately, my brother died, in a car crash, and it kind of just...
Condolences to Beale and his family.
Yeah, man, but just decided to just load the music alone. You know what I mean? So I'm just load the music alone and we never take it any further. So that's when, we just start zeroing in I said, yo, we don't even watch it. Everywhere, this man used to go everywhere. And when we go at Ochi's, that's him present and the energy me I feel like me. I said, Jano, oh my brother pass. So I just load watch it and focus on over
there. I see you running from Ochi, but I could go back into Ochi before we reach Montego Bay. So, how was your earlier upbringing? Like, mother and father? What was the home like? Siblings?
It was here and there. Most of my life is a single mother. Some stages my father come into my life, It was two of us, me and my sister, So, we're in church from early out until, you reach teenage, everything got changed.
You sound, the way you talk, you sound responsible and you sound like you're the older one. Are you the older one or the younger?
No, I'm not the older one for my mother. Neither am I that for my father was late, was passed.
Condolences.
But I was always that person who has that strong energy and meds towards getting things in control and taking care of things. So that's where the man of the yard type of vibes come from.
How much siblings do you have?
My father they a bad boy, So let's say I know about 3, but I'm sure there are more.
Okay.
And 2, and just me and my sister from my mother.
All right. But I don't want to dig too deep in let's go back to the music. So I know you work with a few artists over the years, and we know that you're a man with so much hats, right? I saw you on that Winford interview on stage. That was awesome. That was awesome. You were talking about Billboard and you had on a separate interview, I think you had bring on some artists. So what's going on with that? Do you have another Billboard song, or that was the only Billboard song?
All right, so I have a lot of charted songs now. I told you about the song that So Special that went number 3 on the Reggae iTunes US chart. That particular album that I went to on stage about charted as well, and it was a bestseller on Amazon as well.
Interesting.
And which is Summer Feelings. There are various artists on it. One of
and
the
that
artists
was your rhythm too, right?
Repeat that?
That was your rhythm also, right?
Yes, that was Legendary Promotion Inc. production. So that was one of the rhythms that propelled and was accepted internationally. So on stage, contact me and Winford, we'll have a discussion like what was I doing different from the other artists? I have known artists out there who are not charting, not selling, because I sell like over 500 copies in my first week, and there were a lot of artists that asking what am I doing different, because when they check the charts and the marketing and the production, and we don't have a huge name, what are we doing different? So that interview was explaining about finding a niche and your target market and supply that niche, because a lot of artists do music in Jamaica with just vibes and put out on YouTube, but a lot of time when they release albums and EPs, there's no sales because they don't do a target marketing or find out where their strong point is. They say, I don't know, some have an album I drop and then drop the album. But there's no preparation goes into that. So they wanted to talk to me about that, and so that's what it was. And I bring some of the artists on stage to perform who was on the rhythm.
So with that, right? where do you believe your target audience is? Where you think you have that strong audience base? Is it Jamaica? Is it UK? Is it Africa?
All right, so I have two different type of Spotify's that I check, a production Spotify and artist Spotify. When I check my Spotify playlist, Jamaica is like on number 5 there. So we have like
ranking of 5.
Yeah, in 5th place. So we have like, Germany, Canada, Europe, we have the US, especially in Miami, Florida side there. So my listeners, even when I check persons who use my song and people reach out to me, want to use my song or so forth, it's not only persons from overseas. So I focus on these markets. Africa too. Yeah.
So Africa would be like making it like 6 because you said Jamaica, Germany, Canada.
Yeah, it's fluctuates. Sometimes Jamaica is at 5th, at 6th, sometimes at 7th. But my audience and persons who goes for my music is mostly overseas.
So it sounds like I would say you're not just a musician. You sound like you're in the music business, because you know your target audience, right? You know how to track your target audience. You have your own beats. You're doing your own marketing. Next question, are you signed to any label?
No, I work with my label, which is Legendary Promotion Inc. And I've put up projects under that label and I've market for artists under that label. I've helped a lot of artists also hit the Billboard and the iTunes chart. So Legendary Promotion is my marketing company. But as
when you find time for all of these things, based on all of these things I'm looking at, it's like a book. You sound like you're about 70. You're a man who will reinvent yourself quite a few times. Huh?
When you have the passion for entertainment, I did teaching, but I think my passion was really entertainment. I should have, and I want to tell parents, when you see a child have a passion for something, you need to push them towards it, because, Jamaicans, parents normally want their children to do traditional jobs, but find the passion. A lot of persons overseas, this that the son or the daughter love football, or soccer. They try to nurture them towards that. But Jamaicans push you to do traditional, because a lot of people see music as, musician, idle business that. But a musician who is focused on putting the work, one song will let him gain in a lifetime where traditional job cannot give. So, when you have the passion for something, it doesn't seem like work. So you will, golf yourself right into it. And that's what I did, I love entertainment. So anything, the shows, because at one time in my career, I said, you know what? Let's stop performing for people. So I started turning on shows for about 3 years. I think I began a joke. So I think happened when I was buzzing and I had Top Braff and some other dancer, it's another there. And a lot of party calling themselves Top Braff and support. And I did a show. A man said, I'm big a pass through on 2-1 right now. I said, all right, I'll pass through and get energy. You know what I mean? Besides, I get my energy, so you pass through. And when I pass through, indeed with the necessary liquors and, transportation, gas and so forth. When our next man licked me and said, yo, sir, this is a charge now, I have this. I said, don't worry yourself, man, I forward on my team. Bless up on the show. So somehow they end up meet up. They end up meet up with the man and say, yo, chief father, I'm sure you're not even charged, bro. Just deal with some liquor and the man say, So how in charge me? Because that man that see himself, you know, himself, yo, me with a post and with a this show for this man and charge me. Sometimes say, you know what? Sometimes it's best for us ease up. So I decide to, you know, work on my craft, you know what I mean? Spend some time on me and rebuild myself because my team did kind of break up, you know what I mean? Because you see the thing up with team, you know, you will have a hit song. And as soon as I get the hit song, and you guys were struggle to reach where you need to reach, I have that team and the hit song come. The hit song will split up the team, you know. Man start thief, man start to this, who feels say I get too much spotlight, and all of that start happen. So the team that I had pull up. So I had to start all over. You know what I mean? Because a man feels say, yo, you man that with a shadow too much. And they want to start in one thing. Well, I never tried to, you have Gaza, and on a Gaza you have Unruly, you have all the different type of moniker that all these different artists are the type of energy. So that's how I talk to young artists about. You see when you work hard, your team work hard, and the fame will come, our wife will come, when the fame forward, focus on that. Evaluate on yourself. Don't make the fame mash up the hard work and the team, because that always happens. So, as I said, when you have the passion for it, it don't come like work. It don't come like you work too much hours. You just want to do it. And that's it for me. That's how I find time. That's how I get it done.
Awesome. Tell me something about this song, Caliente.
Caliente. So I got a rhythm from.
I tell you something. I hear that song playing in New York, but I didn't know that was you.
Caliente. Move your body. You're hot. When you shake your body, in your heart, get hot. Girl, fi move to the rhythm and blues. The one that make the man them confess.
Yeah. That's it. You said that's
somebody
a
actually. Yeah, I didn't know it was you.
That's a
I hear that song playing more in New York than I hear it in Jamaica, actually.
Yeah, that's true. As I said, a lot of international people, you know. So there was a youth by the name of Dre Crazy. Yeah. He normally, I think the first time I met him is when he reached out to me and said he's a young producer and he want to work with me. And I went all the way from Montego Bay to Negril End. I know, and he reached out to me. And when I see him come pick me up, he come pick me up on a bike. One of them, yang. I said, brother, where the fuck? And I go on no bike back on the man in the man. How can I style this? I said, no man, a bike taxi down there, someone I saw the thing go. But really and truly, afraid, you know.
You never go for a bike.
But I used to turn me from early out say anything with 2 wheels I don't make. So that fear was driving to me. But anyways, we brave up and we drive this this long journey go to in place, and it was a modest place, and it was a modest, cottage in the woods, And I start recording with him because my sister you would really into music and want to do some work. So one of the days fast forward now, instead of a rhythm, some light rhythm. So I had the punchline in my mind. And I link up with singing melody. And I was linking with singing melody for quite a while. I'm saying singing melody, I have a rhythm one you hear. I play a song on the rhythm and play the rhythm. I say, y'all fi move to the rhythm and blues. I said, what, What? Yeah, singing melody was associated for over 4 years. I would never do music together. And say, I think we should do a song with this man. I say, we could, And we went to I'm gonna do the studio at the time. Yeah. And, you know, we had a team, and Foster was a part of the team at that time, said, yo, I don't want to use one Spanish word in it. Why the singer singing in Spanish in some way. Go on Google. I learned Spanish from Google. You know what I mean? And yeah, a fun story about it when the song done everything. I say, Sam, what? Yeah, man. And the melody say have some persons in. I think it was Switzerland with the mixing. I said, all right, we get them a go with now. And when them send back the song, the rhythm sound different. You have to do some things to it, there, brother. Call Melody, you know, because I'm a man sometimes too serious now. I say, yo, Melody, make the man them do to the rhythm, man. I said, international sound, man. It's international sound. Hey, trust me, man, you're not see it now, but I said, no, man, this song sounds different, man. I said, no, man, international sound, man. Believe me, man, they know what they do. Vex, you know. Vex. And then, you know, I go in bed and sleep and wake up and listen it back again. Different years. I said, no, say, man, to something. Call him back. I said, no, say, I'm to something. So, man, I tell you, man. And that was Caliente. You know, it was a part of his album. And I tell you, Caliente take life. Take a crazy life. That song is big in so many different places.
Let me ask you something, because the history and you, I don't know if this one podcast can cover all the things. What's new?
Well,
what should the audience, because I know you went on Oasis for 3 years at one point, working on, I think at that point you're doing songwriting, you were a producer, you're doing marketing, I believe you're doing events.
Awards, the North Coast Award, all different type of shows, yes. What is new, I wanted to do a body of work. So I had about 2 mixtape out there. Yeah, man, about 2 mixtape out there. So I decided mixtape is the thing that you do before you do an album or EP. You know, New Column of Dancehall, that was one of the mixtape. And then we have Sex Tape, with that song was focused on the ladies. You know what I mean? Mixmaster Overdose, do some of the mixing and so forth. Kendrine was part of the New Column of Dancehall, you know, the different producers and so forth.
So I'm looking at something there, man.
Yeah, so those are the works that I have over there already. But I wanted to always do an album. So I have an album that is upcoming, which is Jubal. And Jubal means the master of musicians. So that album has to do with different genres. So I wanted to show persons that my album can bring forth different genres. But with that, say, you know what, let me give them an EP before, a surprise EP before the big album with the twist. And that's how Dancehall Last Supper came to play. Funny enough, you know, I tried to sell that idea to a couple artists that I was marketing. Because I play hands in a lot of different artists, locally and internationally. But I was pushing it to the artists, dancehall type of artists, but all of them get afraid to do it. The idea was the main artists in the middle, and you would set up like a large supper table. You know, last supper table. And there will be different artists to either side. And they will be pushing a message to say that they are the dancehall chose them and they're the chosen one for dancehall. And all them further it. So I'm saying, what? I'm going to do it.
You know bad, you a chat, you know real. What you feel? Violate and feel the blue still. What you feel? Anyone may buck you know the deal. What you feel? Your goose man can't stop blue still.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. So it's a last supper dancehall. Because we know that what is happening in dancehall right now is like dancehall losing its morals. You know what I mean? Dancehall, like, sorry to say that, gone to the dogs. One time in the dancehall when they say certain things, you'll get a buckler man running off a stage. You see what I said? But now the youths them endorse phobia. One time you can't go up on stage and say, yeah, phobia nobody I do not, you know. No, it's like a thing. It's a pill industry now. You know, everybody becoming pill people. You know what I mean? So the values of dancehall, you know what I mean, it's kind of, and you know, these, you know what I mean, you're gonna have certain songs or a certain type of vibe, you know what I mean? We just sing about the ladies now. But the man them a sing about the ladies like them are nothing. Them are nothing. So the last Supper Dancer is the leading track is talking about this. Where we are saying, here what I want. This is a dancer commandment. Some idiot artist boy and girl need to have sense. This is a dancer commandment. Or you have to tell the youth them about phobia and parchment. This is a dancer commandment. Or you freak out the black queen them like them are your toilet. This is a dancer commandment. So we talk about some different things in it where we know in the industry, or you have to tell the youth about demons and darkness. But no matter why, there are certain levels that dancer used to have. I will see all type of guys are coming at dance and do all that thing. So that I was going to focus on the international songs because those are the songs that put little money from the streams and support. So I'm going to say, you know what? Let me drop this EP, which is Dancehall Last Supper. And that was one of the leading tracks along with some tracks that was released before. It's 6 tracks and a couple new tracks on it. So the people can look out for that from me right now.
So, dancehall commandment. So like you carry dancehall with my shoulder, legend.
Before you said that, you know, I remember when Singing Melody brought me to meet Bojo, because I had an idea for Bojo's show that he, you know, when him did just come out of jail and then he wanted me to pitch that idea so we can maximize the potential of Bojo, and so he brought me to Bojo. And when Bojo said, so me say, you're the guru. What you name? And I said, Whitter the legend. Legend. Oh, you name legend. Okay, go say. Oh, you're the name God, Messiah. And I said, make him talk, man. I said, Bojo, you know, so you have the massacres, the bounty killers, you know what I mean, and all assassins. So I take on a name that I want to live in that legacy, which is to be legendary, and henceforth I use legend. So that is a big shoes. You're smart, but there's a big shoes to fit. So you have to make sure, so when you are the music, it stands for something. Them different style and thing, and we get caught up, but you have to stand for something. Because you name legends, you have to do something with legendary. You have to make sure when people hear them say, yo, that you there. So I left there, never get fit. He had some persons that had his show and everything, so I didn't really get to implement the things that I wanted to implement and show him what I could maximize. But I left there with an experience, and the experience was take the risk, be legendary. You don't have to say what they're saying because of popularity. Sometimes you have to lead out, giant them, but lead out soon enough with a vision, and that's what, you know what I mean, Dancehall Warning is, you know, and the EP, Dancehall Last Supper.
Adversity into opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that.
No, because just by listening to you, I'm learning, you know. So you drop the single, you drop the mixtape, then you drop the EP. So now it's about the album.
Yeah, man. When that album comes, people gonna see a lot of different collabs and a lot of things happening. We have some collabs sit down. We have some collabs sit down with some international artists for about 3 years. Sit down.
Any dates?
Yeah, man. So the EP that is upcoming with is the Dancehall Last Supper is the 14th of April. You don't know what's at Easter, so the name comes with that and the concept comes with that.
That's a couple of days
But,
from now.
yeah. A day from now, yeah. You know what I mean? This would air Sunday, so by
Day from
Monday,
now.
yeah.
What to expect?
You know what I mean? You see that song, the Dancehall Warning. Now, I'm going to go easy upon the artists, them where exploit dancehall. Look on dancehall, more looking at them face and talk to them. Now, I go easy for the artists, them where exploit dancehall and look on dancehall and just gain. Dancehall is bigger than any artist. And dancehall is also very influential. So when I do certain music, to just get a gain and a hype and because it's trendy and you talk about demons and you know what I mean, you glorify evil and them thing there. That song they're gonna beat, you know, because at the end of the day, you're influencing and people have to understand how powerful music is. A man will commit a murder or commit any form of crime and he find a song and that song appeal to a wide crowd and people forgive him. That's how powerful music is. So when you have music and use music to exploit it for your gains and send the youth them on a road where it's like what used to be like taboo is now an in thing. And the youths them more worship themselves of woman call themselves. Mockers, that's what them call themselves. Germs and all of them type of thing there. And nobody can party naturally again. Them have to pills and all them thing there. It might good for
So
you
you're
now.
the man who come and talk about something different. We say I change it from dance.
No, man. It's not about because the man them must have done something and very intelligent now. Don't get it wrong. I think what they're doing with the word dance is taking away the power from dance because a lot of people tell youths that them dance and you know come to none. So they're taking away that power. That's I think Jamal, I know Jamal from way back in the Montego Bay days. You know, Jamal put in a lot of work in the music. You know what I mean? That man, people say, nah, boss, and Iron Balloon, I say that man put in about 20 years in music and this man is one of the leading person now. So, when I want to run with him dance thing, because him a dance, he's a smart youth. But it's a case where at what stage do we give away all our values? At what stage, you know, when music powerful, when we just start out, I mean, I get involved in a certain Badman lyrics and, you know, Badman lyrics and dancehall and gladiator sports. But I've never gone to the case where we just pre certain levels. But yeah, joke. My first daughter one time, when we do a movie and go look for her, me hear, she had sing the song. I'm getting nervous. I said, I have to go find a song she can't sing. She got to sing. And them days there be a girl song me I sing, you know. Hope in you, hope it and bang something, you know what I mean? So I said, and the top brass, you know. A lot of people don't know sometimes you can do hit song in a dancehall that have no bad word. Top brass is one of that song. No bad word 99. And the recent one, Top Springer. Hardcore same way. And you listen to it and say, wait, no bad word 99. So it's doable. And it's what Cartel do right now, where Cartel go ahead and start find some global hits like Fever. Cartel will tell you, the grimy songs, them, you know what I mean, shows them in versatile and then give them, you have a thing I call street side ratings. So the street side ratings, it come like trends. You have it now and you have it tomorrow. But just say when you have catalog. That's when you have hits. When you hold the can go, they can sing it. I think you want later on from when you have 50 and 60, nobody want to hear. What's them head? No, I'm looking for that, Bridget. They want some songs where when you sing it later on in a life, nobody has to over sing and talk about nobody and mockers and bust out girl, throat hole and them thing there. So you have to understand, say, even if you start out like that, you have to create a catalog that when you reach a certain stage, like a Rodney Price now, you know, you're Bounty Killer, you're Rodney Price. You know, you're Spice, you're Grace Hamilton. You have to watch the music and understand it. So you can be commercial and fine, and that's why Afrobeats are lead. You know, they have more people, so they have more people streaming. That's what it's a big industry, but also they're able to commercialize their lyrics and make it simple for the world to understand. So, you know what I mean? Apart from the Jubal album that is soon to be announced on New Days, you know what I mean? What me I do right now is the Dancehall Last Supper. So Christian, don't be offended when you see the artwork and say, me a Jesus. I'm saying that I'm pushing a message that a lot of artists are afraid to push because it's not popular. And is
you think it's needed at this point in time?
Why more than needed? A lot of transmission, all type of people and all type of people. Like everybody at the music right now. And the industry, if we not get a hold on the industry, we're going to mash it up. You know what I mean? Certain standards in our music, man.
Bob still have a place, right?
Bob will always have a place because he has a catalog. Universal songs.
And you're saying on your EP, you have some of those global songs.
No, that's on the album. The EP is strictly dancehall, hardcore. But also, remember I said dancehall is a gladiator sport. It's not a weak sport. When I speak about sing board, the angels and Christ, but there's a case you have to understand that dancehall, with all of the music in our world, dancehall have a standard. Dancehall burn out certain things. Dancehall not glorify certain things. But no dancehall I glorify everything.
You're talking about the moral obligations.
Exactly. No dancehall let in all type of business.
You're sounding like Kalonji and Killer in one.
Well, some good names there, Carl.
As we talk about the hats, it sounds like, you know, you can't keep it. Well, we see you keep on moving that, but we can understand why now, you know. Jackson.
You know, we can have a question because as I talk about that, because you know, you're saying a lot of stuff are being allowed now. Should we allow back the gatekeepers? You know, because
but with a sound like him is a gatekeeper.
It sounds like no, because there was a point where certain things have to pass through certain people before you can even get promoted or endorsed. But now, because of social media and you know the access that everyone has, everybody can just throw out something, and if you catch it, catch. And you know, sometimes it's being shared because it's so negative and it's so random and different that you know people are sharing it, but they're not sharing it because they like it. They're sharing it because it's controversial, right? So should we allow back the gatekeepers? Is that something that would benefit dancehall?
Who said gatekeeper is a wrong thing? Gatekeepers is not a wrong thing. It's not a bad thing. Imagine you have a house or a yard and it's a free fall, anybody can run in. You know, I need no rules, you know what I mean? There's no stipulations, there are no rules that they are involved. But in everything you have persons who are extremists. Mm-hmm. So the problem that people have is persons who, instead of nurturing talents, they force away talents or push away talents. A gatekeeper is someone who brooms up
quality control.
Because if you have a company, let's look at call center, because I spent quite a few years in call center as a trainer. If you have a call center, you don't have any quality control. Everybody now go on the corner door and say what they want. Before you know it, the
But
company lose the
is it
license
not
and
even
run out
just
the
call
government.
center? Most
Company.
companies, manufacturing companies, has
And
quality
music is a
control. Somebody
business.
that, yeah.
So for anybody who think that gatekeeper is a wrong thing, you have something. No. So the word gatekeeper come from quality control. But as I said, people are extremists in certain things. Like if you're an extremist and you have fight on young talent and you are your artist, that's where the problem comes in. So in that case, the other gatekeepers will gatekeep you and push you away and punish you. But it's not a bad thing.
Songwriter, producer, recording artist. I see you like the music industry, marketing. I know you have a team that cover all of these things because you have a record company. But what's your favorite thing out of all of those things to do?
Produce it.
Because we're talking about passion now.
Produce it.
Produce it.
You see, a lot of times where I'm not far in life is because I like to create and watch something grow. So a lot of times when I get the spotlight, me just push somebody in front. Because I like work with somebody, create that clout or create that marketing clout and see it blossom. You know what I mean? As I said, a lot of times I've done that for many known artists that you know. One of them there we call it. That propel in the industry. And when they're sitting on the platforms, when they say, oh, you come about getting this song or this rhythm, I will assist you in the growth. Them say, you know, sir, that's me though. Yeah, man, but that's the focus. They don't tell the stories. But eventually, you know what I mean, one of these days we'll have that talk. But that's a part of it. And that's why I decided no. So here we go. I've created these huge platform and these artists into stardom or assist them in their growth. Now it's time for me to focus on Whitter the Legend. And that's what I'm doing now with EP and then the album. And I also have a single that is coming out on the 21st, which is called Soulmate. You know what I mean? Record it abroad and so forth and working with some persons locally and abroad. That's a big single that is coming out. People look out for it. It's called Soulmate on the 21st. So we have two things that are coming out this month. The EP, the 14th, and a single, which is an international single called Soulmate.
Lovely. So when you drop in Hero?
Huh?
When you drop in Hero?
Hero?
Yeah, man.
That's an inside joke. You won't understand. You won't understand that. You won't understand that one. You won't understand. That's an inside joke. But one thing we tell you. I don't want to say, see? I don't want to say if you're in a relationship or have a girl or have a woman in your life or a queen in your life. Sorry, I don't want to say if you have a queen in your life.
Yeah.
And within 3 months, like, she can't get his song so rap.
Jaja.
Serious thing. The soulmate are forward.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
What is the cartel say? If you're lucky, him get back in visa.
And there you go again. You know what I mean? The side of a strong man is a strong man, not so behind. I want to see the side.
So for somebody who don't understand the role of a producer, you mind explaining?
I'm glad you asked that question. Because the other day I was talking to somebody, provide a rhythm. And I was saying to them that, you know what a producer is? And people don't know what is a manager and a producer is. A lot of previous persons think that the producer should be a manager and the manager should be a producer. A producer is someone who's focused on producing the track, the arrangements, you know what I mean? So he's there from the arrangements from the get-go. He's there as relates to not just the composing of the beat, but also the artist being a part of it. He have his says, and he also become that person who helped that song propel to a next level as it relates to financially, and also influence that track. A lot of these persons send a rhythm as a beat maker, and call themselves producers. The only thing that they do is just for the rhythm. You're a composer. So a producer is someone who basically take the track from baby stage and bring it to the higher levels.
So they're different from is the producer, does he normally work with a record company, or
in some cases the producer will have the track and try to market it to a established label to get the song to reach our next level. So he will market the song or to a international label or whatever to get it to the next level. But a lot of times you have artists being in this music because all this music set up now, artists have to be their one producer. You know what I mean? But a lot of these, the guys that build the rhythm and they send the rhythm to the artist and the artist spend the money and do everything. You see, as an artist, people have to understand this when it comes to being an artist. And I said it before, and I'll say it again. Before an artist boss, he own a brand. The brand is a name. The money can him a push. He have staff members. I'm not saying a boss yet, so he have persons in the radio that are working with him. He has persons in the street dance that are working with him. He have persons in the music industry that are working with him. He hired now and then ambassadors, which is the video girls and so forth. I heard this have an entire business running where his money is coming from different places where mafia push the thing if he doesn't have an investor. And sometimes they'll go and try to get an investor so he become a business partner. All of that before him actually have one song. So a lot of artists, when they finally get that song after being stabbed in their back and all type of things happen to them, they just get corrupt. You know what I mean? So the music is a serious thing where artists are spending millions for the 1 million.
now for the Kommon Cents fraternity who is listening to you now and interested in about the new project that you have coming out, and they would like to support you, can you tell us the date and how they can do so?
All right, so the single, which is Soulmate, will be available, so you can pre-order it. You know what I mean? And also the EP will drop on the 14th. The single is the 21st. So you can go ahead on any of these platforms and purchase the song or stream the song. That's how you support me. Use the song in any medium, where you're on TikTok or Instagram. You can use a song, tag me, I'll repost it. And that's how we grow. You know what I mean? That's a unit. So on the social media, you can find me at Whitter the Legend. That's still the HITTER THELEGEND. That's Whitter the Legend. You can find me on all social media.
When they're purchasing it, where should they go to purchase it?
Well, you can go to Amazon. You can go to iTunes. You can go different places, all different streams.
And when they go on iTunes and Apple,
just type in the
name of the song or Whitter the Legend?
Whitter the Legend, and you will find the song, any one of these songs that, you know what I mean, they give the preview for that you like, and something like that. So go ahead and purchase it. And you can just stream it on Spotify and whatever. The music is all about formulating a family, because let me show you how powerful music is. You have a man who's famous and have a lot of people, a lot of clout. And him drop an album and sell like 100 copies. I have a man that have a family which is in fans is can treat them like family. And when him release a song, him personalize like 1,000 people, create a group or whatever the case, or even 200 people, and him contact them and say, yo, just know how to support it. And that 200 persons buy it 1 or 2 or 3 times. I think you're allowed to purchase a song about 4 times. And they are getting more results. So it's all about creating that niche and that family. In a matter of the fame and all that, because a lot of Jamaican artists, why we struggle is because we have a lot of fame, but we don't go in at the part where we say, here we have one. You don't know if you purchase a song, they're going to teach you today. Let's go through the tutorial. This is how you purchase it. This is the second step. This is the third step. This is the fourth. A lot of Jamaicans, they rate the artist street creds, but they don't purchase music. Well,
the last few, the podcast is coming to another segment, but we want you to tell us with the last few seconds of the podcast how they can do the purchase, the first step and the second step that you're talking about.
Well, first you type in my name, this platform, or you go to my Instagram, and you can link on my LinkedIn, right? And you'll be able to see the different platforms that I am on. You can tap on those platforms, and you'll see the different songs, and you can actually go through the stages of choosing the song. If you're able to stream it, you can stream it. If you say that you should purchase, you can purchase it. Songs nowadays, or EPs, don't cost much. You know what I mean? EP costs anywhere between $6 to $12 or $14. And that's like roughly 2,000 Jamaican. So if you have a favorite artist, the highest amount is spend 1,000 or 1,500 upon the artist to support him. The right thing. Yeah. That's how we're going to be competitive in the market.
There you have it. That's why common sense makes sense, right, Jackson?
100%.
Is there's anything else you want to say before we go, Jackson?
No, well, just want to say thank you, Whitter, for joining us, and definitely appreciate you stopping by. You belong here, bro.
This man, yes.
We appreciate you, making yourself available for an interview. We love the growth. As Q know you a long time before me. So, as Q said, coming from K Styles days, I know Whitter the legend, Billboard artist, producer.
Search for names, K Styles, and all. Judge. But you want to say to individuals.
Yeah.
Anything that you decide to do in life, you first have to believe. Because a lot of people think success is money, but success is not necessarily money. Success is anything that you put your mind to, and you become a master of it. So you could become successful in just being a good painter. You not sell the painting, but you are a successful painter in creating an abstract painting or whichever realistic painting. So a lot of people will put success in a sense where you have material things. But you have to first vision what you want in life and go for it. You can't depend upon your friends because the majority of the time, strangers are going to support you. Remember that. Don't beat up yourself about friends not supporting you. Majority of the time, strangers are going to support you. People you don't know, the people them you know and the people you look like, chances are them going to turn them face until something happens. The one of them jump on the wagon. Something like what happened with Messi when he died in Jamaica. And the Jamaican team. But once you have that focus, stick to what you're doing, find a way to make it work. And I remember Will Smith said he didn't have any plan B and he stick to that. But you can be like Will Smith. You can have your plan Bs and your plan Bs and your Cs are detours towards the destination, which is a plan A. Yeah, man. Kommon Cents make it make sense. For me, this. You have to tell the story as a first. Yeah, man.
Before we go, I say one more thing. Whitter. Very proud of you, sir. Because I'm one of them. I don't know if you remember this. When you say you're going to become a musician fully, I'm gonna say, so what going with the teaching thing? What going with that? I say, no man, music. I say, we're making it part-time. And they say, no, music. And I watch the growth, right? Because sometimes people don't see a vision, but they think what they're saying, they mean you well, right? If a man don't have experience in a thing, my advice to anyone is be careful the advice you take from them, because they're going to give you the advice on what they know. Because you are a perfect example. Common sense, make it make sense. And there we have it. Another episode. Salute.
Like, share, subscribe.